The other one, Elise, and I really pricked my ears up on this one because you and I last time, several weeks ago, talked. You mentioned the fact that one of your prime motives in putting a hand up for council initially was around the area of waste management, and it's has such a huge impact on ratepayers on the overall budget for council here. Last night, Councillor Helen Leach puts up her, an incinerator concept. And it was really interesting to hear the dynamics at work there, because I know Councillor Peter Cox has been very active with the landfill and the recycling out at Eagle Hawk. That one went nowhere. Where did it come from? Because we only talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Was it a strategic move to try and get something happening, or is it more a case of put your toe in the water and see where it all leads from here?
Well, as you know, I've been advocating for this for 4 years. I think Helen spoke to a gentleman just recently that was knowledgeable about it, so she decided to put up a motion about it. I guess I would have done that previously had I thought that there was the numbers around to support it. It's disappointing that, throughout last night's meeting, the future of Bendigo was talked about at length, and this is one of the biggest issues that Bendigo is facing long term.
You know what got me about though, Lisa, sorry to butt in, but what really got me about this one was you would have you and obviously Helen Leach having moved the motion, but Councillor Peter Cox with a huge commitment to handling waste as well, and he's made that clear before. It would seem to me not something that can be debated in a sense, but something that has clear-cut technical solutions, because it would either stack up or it doesn't stack up. Like there was the issue of toxins, dioxins, I think, being released into the atmosphere. Now that's something that scientific data would be able to show at plants that are already operating in Europe and other parts of the world.
Absolutely.
So where do we go from here? Surely that data will be available, and is it likely then to see that we see council say, well, gee, hang on, it does stack up? Or are they going to go the other way?
Well, it's the dynamics of council, I suppose. It's the motion was actually to investigate, so it wasn't to go and get one.
No, that's right.
So it was just to investigate. And so I guess I'm disappointed. I was on the Waste Management Advisory Committee for the first couple of years that I was on council, or that I've been on council. And, things, even simple things like I was walking down the mall and I bought a pie and a can of Coke, and I was carrying my can of Coke around because there was no recycle bins anywhere. And I walked and I walked and I was walking all over town, and I just kept hanging on to this can of Coke because I'm a pretty active recycler, and I feel bad throwing it into a normal rubbish bin. And when I came to that next meeting, I raised it. I said to everybody, why haven't we got recycle bins in the CBD? This is outrageous, Here we are, with these massive issues, and simple things we could be doing to help it. So that idea and a few other ideas that I put up as well got into that. Again, so disappointing when you work on things and you raise issues, because 6 months later at 9:05 in the morning I get a phone call saying, oh, the minister's in town and we're about to announce the new recycling bins in Bendigo. I'd heard nothing about it. I live 15-20 minutes out of town. He's here in 5 minutes, we're about to announce it.
Well, that can of Coke led to some outcome anyway.
It did. I ended up getting recycled bins in the CBD, yay. But yeah, so there's, our long-term future use, Dennis, it's, I don't want to harp on about it, but somebody has to, and I'm hoping that at the next council election, that there's enough people that will have the forethought to actually, seriously get something seriously happening. And I believe that a regional plant, waste-to-energy plant, as I say, not just waste-to-energy, I would like, as I said last night, it needs to be your normal waste-to-energy, which is your basic rubbish. Then I'd like to also have on the same facility site your recycling and also your organics. That can all be enclosed, so it's not stinky. It can all be separate. But, and then you've also got your polystyrene, which is, we don't have the facilities here to recycle polystyrene. It's separate. I know a lot of people put their coffee cups in the recycle bin. You shouldn't. It's not recyclable here in Bendigo because we don't have that facility.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So...
So how confident are you then, Elise? And no, this is an issue that's definitely got to come back, because we're rapidly running out of landfill capacity, and then you've got the transport costs to pay for that as well.
As I said last night, if you have just think about this. How many towns are there in Victoria?
They've all got the same problem.
How many towns have we got? Now, they've all either had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 landfill sites. I know Bendigo's got up to 20 or so that all need rehabilitation, all past and present, and the council costs millions of dollars to rehabilitate one usually, and a whole lot of work to be done. But in saying that, if every town had even 1 or 2, that is a whole lot of holes in the ground that people have to rehabilitate, and then that land only has a few uses that it can really be, because you can't ever have anything with footings on it.
It's very much a longer term problem, yeah.
Correct. And so, if we keep doing this for generations, what are we going to do? We're going to do the same old do nothing and continue to put holes in the ground, charge people to put their rubbish in it, and just then cover it up and have to charge the ratepayers then to have to rehabilitate it. It makes no sense. When we could be, I don't understand why every greenie in this state or in the country isn't jumping up and down saying every state should have one of these facilities.
Well, the one thing, from what I've seen anyway, and the research I've looked at, it would seem to confirm that you can reduce the volume of waste, if you like, down by even up to 90% in some cases by using an incinerator process. But if it's the releasing into the atmosphere of inappropriate gases or dioxins or whatever, how confident are you that the data that's available from existing plants elsewhere in the world will confirm that that release of toxins or whatever is harmless? There was a suggestion made last night. I think Councillor Helen Leach said it was almost like water vapour going into the atmosphere. Yeah,
well, it can be. Scientifically, they've worked out a way to, to make that not, or to make it safer.
Harmless, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're confident that that data will probably carry the day eventually?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. If we could put a man on the moon and look at what we've done, look at what humanity, look at what mankind has been able to achieve. Like, quite frankly, it astounds me with everything that the technology today. I grew up with a phone on the wall and a cassette player, and you listen to the top 20, you'd have to press record and stop and record. Like, look at the technology now. I can sit here, I can pay all my bills in 5 minutes from internet banking or whatever else on your phone. There is so much technology out there, and that's just one little thing. Imagine this great big thing that they've got. So these facilities are all over the world, and I just don't understand the viability of that plant. If every town, as I say in Victoria, there's a lot of rural towns that don't want stinky tips, don't want to rehabilitate, and rightly so. I mean, who would want to? Yeah. So we are now carting rubbish all the way up to Patho. Yeah. Right, and dumping it up there. Patho's going to be full too one day. You can't just keep digging holes up there. So, what is our long-term solution? Well, we don't have one. Right now in Bendigo, we don't have a long-term solution for our rubbish. So all that we were asking for last night was for that to be investigated. Very disappointing that there's no vision for the long-term solution,
Well, I get the feeling it's not going to, it can't go away because we do have a long-term problem.
We're always going to have rubbish.
Yeah, exactly.
People make rubbish. Every day people make rubbish, and it's not going to go away. No. And I'm not a greenie. I want to get this right straight now. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm so not a greenie. I do care about the environment though. I'm a bit of a skeptic on other things, but this is something that is real, and it's not rocket science. It is real, it is happening, and it's a big issue. You can't stick your head in the ground. And
I think we've said before, Elise, a lot of ratepayers don't understand the impact it's having on the cost structure for council. What could be done with a lot of that money that's going to waste management at the moment? So we'll watch that space.
I just don't think though that it'd be a council thing. Like, this could be a private investment. So it doesn't
need to be driven by council, I guess, to say...
We'd need to do the planning, we'd need to support it, we need to do some investigating. Like, we do, absolutely, we need to support it, but financially wise, doesn't mean that we're going to go and borrow or beg or for $70 to $100 odd million or whatever it's going to cost. But long term, that'll be a drop in the bucket as to what it makes, as to what the energy it creates and the money it creates, the employment that it creates. But the long-term solution, and then no more rehabilitation and using holes in the ground
creating
forever,
big problems in the ground
all over the state. It would, the outcomes of it would be just amazing. And I'm disappointed that we didn't have the support around the table just even to investigate it thoroughly. But look, we get a new council soon, and hopefully we get some people there that have thought about this and that have the long-term future of waste management in Bendigo and across the region, you know, is it, you know...
Well, we've had a number of those prospective new councillors in here, and I know the environment's foremost in many people's minds these days, as it rightly should be. So, yeah, we'll watch that space.